My name is Elay Cohen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SalesHood. I'm sitting here in San Francisco at the SalesHood office, and I'm coming back from an amazing experience. I was at the Sales Enablement Society conference in Dallas. Experience Sales Enablement 2017. I want to first off congratulate Scott Santucci for having the vision to create the society and for pulling together hundreds of enablement leaders to share best practices and network and help elevate the sales enablement profession. Congratulations. I did a talk, and in my talk, I shared some best practices around Sales Enablement Guiding Principles. Now, what I wanted to do, based on feedback from the room, was help continue the conversation. So here's a recap of my talk that I hope will inspire us to come together and keep talking about Sales Enablement Guiding Principles. Because if we can all align around what good looks like, we'll all be better. So a little bit about me. I worked at Salesforce from 2005 till 2013. I'm the former Senior Vice President of Sales Productivity. Now, I want you just to think about that. From 2005 to 2013, those were amazing years. They were the hypergrowth years. We trained and onboarded over 10,000 sales and customer-facing employees. Now, I'm sharing that with you, not to brag. I'm sharing that with you to empathize with you. As enablement leaders, as enablement professionals, I know what your lives are like. I was there, managing the budgets, managing the boot camps, managing the training, managing the relationships with marketing, like the craziness. I know what it's like. We're all crazy to want to be enablement leaders. And during that time, I had the amazing good fortune of having the appropriate and the appropriate executive sponsorship. And so I want you to go back in time, circa 2005, and I want you to imagine who was Salesforce.com at the time. Well, it wasn't a household name. It was not. We were not the market leader. And we were struggling as a startup company. We wanted to prove our existence. We needed to prove that companies really wanted to embrace cloud, not unlike many startup and post-IPO companies today on the planet. Most of us today wish we could be just like Salesforce.com, but something unique happened. I remember a specific call that I got from Mark Benioff, the CEO, and he said, we need to build a mantra. We need to enable our teams. We need to double down on enablement. That's how we're going to win. That's how we're going to dominate. And he went off about the importance of getting all of our teams aligned on messaging, all of our teams aligned on a common sales playbook, all of our teams saying the same things. For Mark Benioff, the brand was the most important thing, and the extension of the brand was directly passed through the salespeople. He didn't care where he was on the planet. He wanted every customer-facing and salesperson to be on message. That's what messaging alignment is all about. So pulled me in, pulled in the CMO, pulled in the heads of sales, and we strategized around doubling down on enablement. Now, this was amazing because it provided me with the ability to really prioritize and be aligned with a top leader's number one initiative, enablement. And which top leader on the planet today doesn't want to increase attainment and isn't interested in helping to elevate the sales teams and drive more revenue? Every single one. And it was just amazing to watch Mark as a visionary pull the team together and help us to align around the common goal of improving enablement. Really amazing. Now, during that time, my team and I, over the years, we kept on enabling our teams. We did boot camps. We were doing coaching. We were doing planes and trains and automobiles running around the world. 10,000 customer-facing employees, hundreds of thousands of deals reviewed. We just, 2 boot camps a month, 2 kickoffs a year. We just went on and on and on, doubling down on enablement because it was our CEO's top priority and it was the ultimate driver for growth. Now, as the years went on, the sales teams, it grew. The number of people that we had to train and onboard grew. The cost became extremely high. I just want you to kind of internalize this. My team, 120 people, and it was a $40 million line item. Just internalize those numbers. Now, I knew this. I knew that most people on the planet, most companies, didn't have a team of 120 enablement leaders. And so that was a big, aha moment for me. I realized there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way to do this at scale. And so I went deep and I started reflecting on all the successes and everything that we did. And I founded a company, this company, my company called SalesHood, our company called SalesHood. And as I reflect on those 8 years at Salesforce and as I reflect on the past 4.5 years here at SalesHood, I think hard about what are all the things that we did to deliver success. How do we achieve greatness? And not only at Salesforce, but how do we achieve greatness for all the companies that we work with? We have over 100 companies that we work with today, 30,000, sales-facing customer roles, salespeople sharing best practices. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And with that data set, we've come up with these 10 sales enablement guiding principles. So let me go through them. Number 1, we got to go top down, bottom up. Got to go top down, bottom up. Think about my Salesforce experience. Think about how we're completely aligned with Mark Benioff. We got to do that. As organizations today, we need to be able to really focus in on aligning with top priorities, mapping our enablement strategies with our go-to-market, and making sure that we're aligning with CEOs, CROs, and CMOs. We got to go top down and bottom up. Boom, that's number 1. Number 2, we need to focus on metrics that matter. We need to measure the metrics that matter. We got to ask ourselves, what problem are we solving today? As enablement leaders, we got to ask ourselves, are we solving attainment? Are we solving pipeline generation? Are we solving win rates? Whatever the key metric is that we're trying to solve, we got to align around it, and we got to rally the teams, and we got to communicate. We got to focus and measure metrics that matter. Something I learned over the years. Number 3, we need to enable frontline managers. So critical. If we don't enable our managers first, then all the great programs and all the great investments, they're not going to happen. Because you know what? Guess what? Our teams, our salespeople, they look to our managers and they want to see, have they recorded a pitch? Have they executed the playbook? We need to demonstrate that our enablement is focused on frontline managers that lead by example. So that's the 3rd sales enablement principle. Number 4, guess what? Social learning increases attainment. The idea of salespeople learning from each other, the idea of salespeople learning from the best, the idea of helping to pull up the entire organization by highlighting best practices, the idea of creating a culture of peer-to-peer, the idea of creating a culture of teams around the world sharing best practices. Now, I did this at Salesforce. It was an incredible driver of success. And we do this today with the companies we work with, like DocuSign, Financial Force, Aptus, Domo. These are amazing companies that we work with that are embracing these guiding principles. The 5th sales enablement guiding principle is all about learn by doing and learn by applying. Let's take our enablement programs. Let's take our enablement strategies. Let's roll them out to our teams. Now let's apply the learning to our deals, to our territories, to the emails we're sending out in real time, right? Remember, we're starting with the top down, bottom up. We're focusing on key metrics that measure, and then we're aligning our teams around that metric, and then we're rolling out content, and then we're having our teams apply it to their day-to-day. It's a key guiding principle of enablement. The number 6, the 6th guiding principle is all about making content bite-sized and timely. Now, when I say bite-sized, I mean, we don't want to just roll out playbooks that are like, 80 to 100 slides long and, have people watch videos that are 60, 90 minutes long. Let's break up the videos into small bite-sized chunks. Here's an example. Think about the sales process. Sales process is 5 stages. Each of those stages has expectations, actions. They have things that we want our teams to do as they're moving their customers through the buying journey, through the sales process. Let's break down those stages into conversations. Elevator pitch, objection, customer story, pricing objection, demo, solution overview, a proposal, a business case, a closing presentation. Guess what? Those are 10 bite-sized micro presentations, micro conversations that I call them micro pitches, that if we can break them up into small pieces, serve up that content just in time when our teams need them and get them to practice it, learn by doing, apply it to their day-to-day, magic will happen. Another enablement principle is all about partnering with subject matter experts. So we've got the content, we've got the fundamental guiding principle that we're going to make content bite-sized. Guess what? Now we need to take that principle and we need to train not just our salespeople that they're going to consume content that way, not just our managers that they're going to reinforce and coach their teams in a bite-sized micro way as well, but we need to train marketing, product managers, subject matter experts. We got to bring the whole organization with us. That's what the partner with subject matter experts and be a multiplier through our teams and departments is critical. It was an amazing success driver at Salesforce. It's something that we do with companies, and we really want to coach you around, partnering with the subject matter experts. Bring them with you on the enablement journey. It is so critical. The 8th guiding principle of sales enablement is all about communications. Sales enablement should be carrot, value-based. What's in it for me? It should not be stick compliance. We should not be thinking about an old way of learning management and you must watch this video and you must do this quiz. That doesn't help anyone. Carrot, value-based. What's in it for me? Once you've got all these fundamental principles, then you got to start thinking about a role. I want you to think about learning. I want you to think about tools. I want you to think about training by role. I want you to think of communications by role. So create paths by role that are going to help your teams know that you're creating learning that's tailored to them for their jobs. And finally, the 10th, and one of the most important guiding principles is about celebrating successes. Not just the wins, not just the deal wins, but celebrate successes across the entire life cycle. Email, conversation, early leading and indicator successes. We want you to celebrate successes, celebrate results. Make that be part of your cadence of how you're driving your enablement programs. And so, what's next? Where do we go from here? These 10 enablement principles, they are so critical to the foundation of a successful enablement strategy. I want to invite all of you to a new weekly show, the SalesHood Live. It's a radio show that I'm going to start hosting. And every Friday morning, we're going to come together and we're going to, for the next 10 weeks, we're going to explore each one of these guiding principles. We're going to go deep. We're going to talk about them. We're going to share best practices. We're going to have a live Q&A because, I'm a believer that if we can get every professional on the planet to embrace these 10 enablement principles, these 10 sales enablement principles, greatness will happen like we've never seen it before. And, I believe the future of enablement, I believe the future of our sales profession is all about engagement. And so by embracing these 10 sales enablement principles, together we will have better engagement. And that engagement means more peer-to-peer, manager-to-rep, more real human-to-human coaching. So that's it. I want you to join us every Friday morning for SalesHood Live. You can check out the info down below and let us know what you think of the 10 sales enablement guiding principles. And I want to thank the Sales Enablement Society for the inspiration to share the best practices and to pull the enablement professionals on the planet together.